primary control of critical vehicle functions. Roger, roll, Discovery.
Hello and welcome to Cut Into the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben. I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And the long-awaited return of Mr. Gareth Benson.
Hello. The prodigal son hath returned.
I will give you a round of applause, but I'm holding my phone in one hand. Hang on.
I will.
And his cock in the other.
I will keep the casual racism to a bare minimum.
Why should you have it a lifetime?
New year, new me.
Oh.
Yeah.
What, have you gone woke?
Nah, fuck the China virus.
He's back.
For a second, I thought you were going to sort of take a knee and raise a fist or something.
Fuck.
No.
Yes.
Say that's a no.
I've missed you all. Hello. No knees for me. I think it's a bit patronising when, people like me do it. If it doesn't affect.
Yeah.
What fucking use is it if I go into the warehouse tomorrow and go, oh man, I'm going to take the knee.
Before the start of every shift.
I mean, Facebook a picture of it. Oh, hashtag woke. Anyway, on with the show, Ben.
Right, Mike, if you wouldn't mind reading out some new and returning listeners, and then we'll crack on with some weird news before we start talking about today's topic, which is the birds aren't real movement.
I have to admit, I'd never heard of this. Escaped my attention. But it's a doozy.
It's a meme that, well, to become a meme by its nature, means it's infiltrated culture, hasn't it? But yeah, it's quite a common conspiracy thing. And the guy who created it is a little genius, but we'll get into that. Sorry, not the guy who created it, the guy who discovered it and uncovered it.
Right.
Well, we'll decide anyway.
Okay, that's fair enough. Mike, do you want to do the new and returning listeners?
I can. We have Milan, Italy, Adelaide, Australia, Krasnoyarsk, Russian Federation, Madrid, Spain, Zagreb, Croatia, Jakarta, Indonesia, Vancouver, Canada, Accra, Ghana, Austell, Georgia, Buffalo, New York, Middletown, Pennsylvania, Scott City, Missouri, Keswick, Canada, Dublin, Ireland, Thomasville, Georgia, Guadalajara, Spain, and Telford, UK.
Telford top. Again, loving it.
Teen pregnancies and listening to Cutting Through the Bull.
Don't forget grooming gangs.
Oh,
It's just, well, it's what a place to be.
It's just a fact.
Right, weird news then.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Biologist believes he'll reverse the aging process with 200-year-olds playing football. Now, this is from the Daily Star, which, as we all know, is the only source of true news in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
A top scientist has revealed that he believes we aren't too far from finding breakthrough drugs that could see the human lifespan double, allowing people to live longer in good health, dramatically slowing down the aging process, resulting in 200-year-olds playing football could be a genuine possibility, he claimed.
Well, imagine Messi playing for 200 years.
Surely you're going to get older still. I mean, you're going to be 200 years old and running around the pitch like a 30-year-old, aren't you?
Yeah, you might be alive. Exactly. Yeah, you're saying you might be alive and well, but you're not comparable to a 27-year-old athlete.
He might be kicking it about in the garden with his kids, maybe. He's not going to be playing for Barcelona in the Champions League finals.
He's 200. He should be grateful that he can fucking get around on a fucking mobility scooter or anything, man. Fuck me, I'm 200.
All right, then perhaps not 200 years, but certainly maybe 100 years he could be playing.
Who the fuck would want to live 200? Man, can you imagine
I know.
how fucking fed up I would be by the 150th year?
I'm waiting
I've been
for
alive
death
for
now.
50 years. I've spent 20 of them in COVID lockdown.
Fucking hell. Oh. New music's still shit.
Uh,
Yeah, but
150.
new music at that point would be anything within the last 50 years.
Oh, it'd be a living nightmare.
I mean,
You'd be sad. You'd be like Captain America, man at a time, a man who can remember, like 2 different time periods.
yeah.
Not
We'd
for
be
me.
like, oh, I remember tapes, and everyone else said, what the fuck's a tape?
Yeah. I still don't understand how tapes work, really. I don't understand how a sound is on a tape.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And I certainly don't understand how a sound is on a record. I mean, how... Mate,
yeah, I know,
fuck, smelt my own brain. They are just plastic. There's no circuits.
It's like you always fantasize if you went back in time, you'd be like living like a god because everyone would think you've got magic powers. But when it actually comes to describe these things in detail, you're like, oh, fuck.
How does
I've no
electricity
idea.
work? Come on, future man, Gaz. How does this thing called electricity work? Well, I don't How do I? You plug it in the fucking wall. We need to go and find that Edison prick. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, would you want to watch 200-year-olds playing football?
Well, maybe for half an hour.
It could be the special... There could be like a speciality league, couldn't there? Of like, all your favourites from 200 years ago.
Shearer, Ronaldo, Messi, all together for the first time.
And they're just about, like when they have them charity matches on telly, England versus the rest of the world, and they're all a bit fat and, like, you know what I mean? It's a bit embarrassing because they're wearing, like, normal fitting football shirts. You know what I mean? It'd be like that.
Father Ted, all priests over 75's five-a-side football tournament.
Yeah.
See what I'd be like? They'd just all be dodgering around.
There is actually a football team, isn't there, with a combined age of a back four of 300.
Yeah, but they lose every game.
Yeah. They got like the biggest losing streak ever. And he says, we're fine up to about 60, 70 minutes, and then their legs go.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, apparently, the average life expectancy in the UK is 81, which I refuse to believe. 10 years older than the worldwide average. That's not right.
Might be.
There's a lot of old cunts in this country, though.
It might be. I think that's average men and women. I think men's 78, women's about 83, 84, something like that.
They live a bit longer, don't they, bless them?
Yeah.
Less stress.
Yeah. So this guy is called Dr. Andrew Steele, and while he's not expecting OAPs to start looking like teenagers, he predicts a drug that will identify the root causes of dysfunction as people get older, preventing the usual health issues the majority of us tend to experience as we age and slow them down or even stop them completely. So arthritis, joint pain, hip problems, brittle bones. I assume something to do with your brain.
Some scientists do believe that the first immortal human has been born already.
Is he out fighting with swords?
No, but by the time like he reaches 70, which or 81 is the life expectancy now, life expectancy will be 100. By the time he reaches 100, it would have been extended to 120. By the time he reaches 120, it's extended to 150, so on.
Where are we going to put all these old fuckers? We haven't got enough. There's not enough space as it is.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive problem, isn't it?
Well, coronavirus is seeing to that, isn't it?
Ah, yes, the boomer remover.
They're not boomers, are they?
No, they're not. I just like that name for it.
Octogenarian removenarian?
Yeah, something like that.
No. Oh, we shouldn't joke. It nearly killed Jeremy Clarkson. National treasure.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's come out today and said he was quite concerned because he's had pneumonia twice and he smokes like a chimney. He's going to die alone in a tent at Christmas. But he didn't.
I didn't think he still smoked.
I think he'll smoke until he's fucking... You know what I mean? I think he's one of them. Or maybe he doesn't, I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, I know he used to because you'd see him on Top Gear sneaking one occasionally when they could show that on BBC.
Well, here's the thing with this. Like, say they keep Messi's body going, but they can't, like, maybe they can't rejuvenate his brain so much. So he'd be a bit useless on the pitch. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, man on, huh?
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. After he's been tackled, then he's like, I remember man on. Means there's something coming, isn't it? Oh, well. You used to be good, Messi.
Yeah. You let everybody down now.
You used to be good, old man. What happened to you? Fucking
still
200
good.
and some cunt kept injecting me with shit that kept me alive.
Yeah, I think that's it for that. But apparently 10 years, the anti-aging drugs will be out in 10 years. So we can start taking them.
Let's hope for us yet.
We'll be like 48.
Mm.
Oh, just in time.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it depends how my life's going, mate. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Ask me when I'm 50.
That's a valid point. Nah, I've had enough now.
Right,
In fact, strap me up to one of them euthanasia machines. I'll take it now.
Don't you want another 10 years? Nah.
Nah.
Not
I've been hoping
planet.
there's going to be an asteroid impact for the last 5.
You're all right. Yeah, well, I read a comic once where, like, nuclear, war ravaged the world. Everything was dead. And the only thing left living was the Hulk and a bunch of nuclear-powered, like, cockroaches. And he lived this horrific cycle of just wandering the earth. The cockroaches would attack him, eat all his flesh until he turned into the Hulk and then regenerated and killed them and then turned back into the old man and just kept walking because he's immortal, basically. Because the Hulk won't let Banner die because every time Banner's nearly dead, he changes into the Hulk. So what I'm saying is living on forever.
Yeah.
Being immortal might not be all it's cracked up to be.
No, that's not fun. Getting your skin eaten by radioactive cockroaches on a daily basis. You just stop fighting at one point. You just lie down and let them do it, wouldn't you?
But he just cut the Hulk, won't let him die. He's
Yeah,
like,
Hulk's gonna come in a minute. I might as well just fucking lie at you.
He's like begging the Hulk, like, please, next time, just fucking let them eat me.
Oh, Jesus.
Please. Well.
That's a heck of a dark future.
Mm-hmm. Glad I'm not the Hulk.
Yeah. Well,
The first blast.
oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on.
Yeah, next one.
Super rats immune to poison may cause rodent explosion in Britain.
Well, no shit. If they're immune to poison, of course the population's going to explode.
Britain faces an explosion in rat numbers during 2021, with 3/4 now immune to pest control.
We need to improve poison, don't we?
Clearly.
Jenny Rathbone from website pest.uk said it's very worrying because this hybrid resistance means some common rodenticides simply don't work. This, together with a bumper breeding year, means we're in for a heck of a ride in 2021 if we don't have a very, very cold winter. So it might not be cockroaches that are eating you, like maybe super rats.
God.
I don't know which is worse.
It might be immune to poison, but they're not immune to fire or machine guns. Deploy the army.
What, to hunt down rats?
Yeah.
Well,
If it's going to become
that right now.
I was going to say, if it's going to become such a problem, they're going to overtake, like, it's going to be an issue to us. We're unsafe. I want the army in the street, even if it's rubber bullets. That would be fun, wouldn't it? The streets are overrun with rats. Yeah, that's gory then. The cleanup would be a lot easier if you use rubber bullets, wouldn't it? Mind you, I don't know. You're the gun expert. If I shot a rat with a rubber bullet at a decent distance, would it still explode? It could go straight through.
They're pretty nasty against people, aren't they?
Yeah. They don't go through you, though. I don't know. Somebody out there.
Yeah, someone find out.
Shoot a rat at close range with a high-velocity rubber round and let me know if it explodes or not.
Probably would.
Mm-hmm.
We can release super genetically engineered cats that'll hunt down the rats.
Now you're talking.
But then we've got super genetically modified cats out of control and breeding. What do we do when they're out of control?
Well, then we introduce the super genetically engineered dogs.
And what about when they're out of control?
No, you just put out a tin of tuna and now you've got a genetically super modified cat friend. Yes. I mean, if he ever gets annoyed and takes a swipe at you, you'll bleed out and
Missing a limb. We just eviscerate you while you sleep.
Oh God, I hate rats.
Yeah, me too. But I don't like the idea of just releasing genetically modified bigger animals into our ecosystem. So where does it stop? It's like, well, to stop the dogs, we release some wolves. And to stop the wolves, we release bears. Well, what about the bears? By this point, they're 20 foot tall.
Super apes.
We just need to call the Pied Piper.
Ah.
And they'll follow him into the sea. No, he didn't go in the sea, did he? But he led them into the sea.
Or off a cliff or something, yeah.
Something like that, wasn't it?
But then he took a load of kids.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that story.
Because they didn't pay him, so he took their children.
Oh, well.
Oh, Christ.
Deal's a deal, isn't it? Fucking hate people who don't pay when they say they're going to. Deal's a fucking deal.
Come on, people. It's only the firstborn.
You shouldn't have signed the contract if you couldn't afford the payment.
Yeah. Read the small print.
Yeah. Well, like I said, flamethrowers.
I'm down for flamethrowers.
That would be awful. Imagine the scene, the noise, the smell. Because then there'd be flaming rats running around all over the place. Well, I think they went really wrong. They started crawling up everyone's legs and setting everyone's uniforms on fire. And fuck this. And because they disperse because they're on fucking fire, it ends up spreading. Like, you get the second Great Fire of London. Could be. Now that I think about it, I don't think a flamethrower is the correct method.
What if we were in like tanks with flamethrowers and we lured them into an open area?
Yeah, they're still going to run off like mad, aren't they? And get into all nooks and crannies and buildings with their backs on fire.
Yeah.
And potentially, you know.
Wouldn't it be easier? I was going to say, wouldn't it be easier just to clean up the dirty areas and make sure there's no rubbish lying about?
Oh, you commie.
Yeah. That's fun with it, Mike.
Just saying.
Well, obviously. But that would involve your government giving a shit, and they don't. So we need the army and fire. No, not fire, not fire. Fire's not going to work.
I think we should try the fire.
Acid could work.
Acid cannons? How fucking awesome would that be?
But we've got to lure them all out into an... You know what I mean? You can't just pour acid down the drains, can you? I'm sure that's not good for you.
No. Probably environmental damage with that. You might just create a super mutant rat.
Yeah. I still claim to this day, I mean, it could have just been a hornet, and I'd never seen a hornet before in real life, but I captured what I describe, because I was near to Ironbridge where the power station is. I know it's not a nuclear power station, but it's still a power station. I still claim that it's a mutant. It was a mutant wasp. It was massive. Obviously, feeding off the coal radiation from the bridge. I mean, coal. Anyway,
Sounds plausible to me.
So what are they going to do about these rats for real, Mike? What the fuck are they going to do? Did it say?
No, basically.
Shit.
Just as homeowners have been urged to block up holes in brickwork, air bricks, shed doors and cellars. That's it.
Oh, that's so reassuring.
Yeah,
hey,
I feel a lot safer.
You don't want any little holes or little gaps in your house, because basically, rats that are immune to poison could find their way in.
And eat your baby's face.
You know. So, unless you've got the stomach for it, because, like I said, poison might not work, but stamping on them and smashing them with... I saw live rats for the first time in my life, like, not pet ones, like street rats. I've never seen a live one before until December last year. One ran out it was horrible because I heard a rustling noise in the leaves on the floor and a fucking rat just darted across the path and I was like, ah! It like a real, like, it felt like a Neanderthal instinct in me. It was like, ah, get away. And then two others came flying out, following it. And like, so I just got the shit scared out of me twice, basically, by the little bastards. And I was thinking, I think that's not just me being a pussy. I think there's something primeval about little scurrying, horrible things that, like, we're just like, ah, fuck off.
Yeah, I can go with that. Anything that scurries, I don't like.
Rats. Ooh, they're pretty big, you know.
Spiders, they scurry and scuttle.
Yeah, something primeval, but I don't know. Stay away from me, rats.
Too right. Right, what's the last one?
Again, animal themed.
It is.
Quite as terrifying as the last one. Meet the Snake Man, who lives with 120 pet snakes, 70 spiders, plus bald rats and lizards.
Bald rats? Oh, fucking hell.
Rats
Rats are horrible, but yeah, of course it does.
He's got a collection of pets so extensive he spends several hours a day cleaning some of his animals. Some of his animals include venomous pythons and large tarantulas. Mr. Hopkins, the snake man, has turned his own home into a zoo. 120 snakes. He's appeared on TV and organised shows for celebrity birthdays, and he is known for his work with animals. His house in Llanelli, Wales, is also filled with bald rats, lizards, cockroaches, frogs, and...
Fucking Noah's Ark, innit?
Smells like the seventh circle of fucking hell. Jeez, can you imagine the smell? Oh, God. You taste it from here. If you saw him on the street, though, you probably wouldn't know how he spends his time, reports Wales Online. Geraint, with his, well, Geraint, I don't know how you say that. It's a Welsh name, Geraint. We'll go with Geraint. With his wife, Yolandi. Say it in a Welsh accent, though.
What, Yolandi?
Yolande is definitely not a Welsh name. Anyway, they've got so many animals, they spend several hours a day cleaning up shit.
Lovely.
His journey began with one snake, which he borrowed from a friend. And he used to raise money for charity during events. Can I borrow your snake? I'll bring it back, I swear. But it wasn't until he met his wife, Yolande, with their collection eventually grew. I started borrowing a snake from my mate, and then, of course, I met Yolandi, and now we have hundreds of snakes.
Oh, of course.
What a storyteller. What a storyteller. Fucking hell,
He's certainly painted a visual image.
The pair estimate one day I had one snake and I met my wife. We got hundreds.
I love it.
Explain it, mate.
I love it how he estimates. He doesn't even know how many he's got. Fucking.
Oh, God. Well, they've got 70 fucking spiders, Burmese pythons, albino pythons, a Mexican red-knee tarantula. That doesn't sound good. And a salmon bird eater. Fucking spider called a bird. This man, that spider wouldn't be here if less people weren't importing them and having them in tanks and like, oh, I'm so clever owning a fucking red-kneed pink bird-eating tarantula. Oh, get me, you twat. Let's be in this country. What if it gets out?
Oh, yeah.
And just escapes into the forests of Wales. And one day you're walking your little fucking Jack Russell, and the next thing you're face to face with, I don't know what one looks like. These people should be forced to live in a tank with their creatures.
What gets me, though, is you get someone that like, oh, yeah, I've got my pet tarantula, and it's like they treat it like it's a cat or a dog. It's like, no, it's a fucking spider, mate. It'll eat you it'll bite you. It's not a cat. It's not domesticated. It doesn't love you.
He goes on to say you can never really trust a snake. They can often just have a really bad day. And then he says, snakes are definitely my favourite. People don't realise how amazing they are. I just live being around them.
Oh, my God. People, you do have to wonder about people like this, don't you? You know what I mean? Insect people. Because they're never... There's always something a bit off.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
You don't say.
About spider people, insect people.
You wouldn't want to be stranded, would you? Having to knock on his door, ask to use a guy's phone or something.
Oh God.
No, he's got bald rats running around the fucking house.
I'm going to Wales again. Now I know there's a red-knee tarantula living there.
And a bird-eating one.
Yeah, that's the worst one. A bird eater. Come on. Some birds are pretty big.
Yeah.
Even if it eats small birds, fuck off.
Small birds are pretty big in comparison to a spider, though.
The spiders in our country eat little tiny fruit flies, right? Birds, because we don't live in some horror land like fucking Australia or some horrific rainforest. This is England, don't you know? And our spiders don't eat fucking birds.
I just got visions of this thing getting out and like walking down the street and there's like several seagulls caught in a web in a tree.
God.
What if there's an earthquake or something?
Oh no!
Fucking all the cases open.
Yeah.
This guy's in a fucking death house. Venomous snakes and spiders.
Oh God! It's just yeah.
He's lying there like underneath the tables, bleeding, and he's like, "Oh, my snakes, get help!" And they just bite him.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Birdie slowly eats his face.
Yeah.
What a maniac.
Deserves it.
So, this is the Birds Aren't Real movement. Would anyone like to say anything before we start?
It's a bit cuckoo, this one, isn't it?
I don't think it's any more cuckoo than any of the other subjects we've covered. We'll get into that. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to take this from their official website and their story, birdsaren'treal.com. Going back to 1947. 1947, the CIA was founded. Its sole responsibility to watch and survey tens of thousands of Americans suspected of doing communist things. And, you know, providing counterintelligence. But mainly spying on people.
That's what they do best.
It is. And garroting people from behind.
And deposing democratic governments of other countries.
And assassinations.
Creating false flags.
Putting explosives
selling
in Fidel Castro's cigars.
Facilitating of cocaine on the streets of Los Angeles in order to fund illegal operations in Southern America.
Oh, yeah, on that.
Fact.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
To put it mildly, they got a bit of shit on their hands, haven't they? The CIA.
Yeah.
There's a bit of red in the ledger, as they say in Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in 1953, Alan Dulles was made the first civilian director of the Central Intelligence Agency and made it his mission to ramp up the surveillance program, hiding cameras in thousands of locations and ordering his staff to plant them in areas that would be impossible to detect. Although, in all fairness, you know, this is the 1950s, and I'd imagine that the cameras were rather large.
Yes. Huge, in fact. Absolutely massive.
I'm thinking of the Simpsons episode where Homer has to wear the camera inside the giant cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And he's like, make it in and out in 15 minutes or you'll suffer permanent neck damage.
I don't know, though, you know, because you know how the army and that, they've got access to tech like 10, 20 years before we do.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. I
was watching the making of Attack of the Clones on YouTube the other day, which I believe came out or was made in like 99, 2000, somewhere around there, 2001. Somewhere around there anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
George Lucas has got FaceTime technology to like talk to the people shooting stuff in Australia from his ranch in wherever Skywalker Ranch is in America. He's got literal screen FaceTime. Like, we didn't get that to like fucking. So what I'm saying is, if you're loaded, maybe they had smaller cameras in 1950 something than we knew about.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that certainly is. Yeah.
It is
Maybe.
a possibility.
Yeah, I would certainly say they would be at least 10 years ahead.
They always are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like the army had GPS like donkey's years before the
Yeah.
public had it.
Well, this is 1956, and remember, the Roswell crash was in 47. I've no doubt they were harvesting that alien tech.
Yeah.
Possibly. So, Alan Dulles decides that, I could put a camera fucking everywhere, but we could just put cameras in the sky with that can move around. So we could you wouldn't need hundreds, hidden everywhere. If you got a flying camera, that would be a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Eisenhower approved the initial idea, asked him to return when he had figured out how to make it possible. It is believed the initial plan for killing all the birds and replacing them with flying cameras was thought up in one weekend in May of 1956. Dulles and his team hated birds with a passion and were heard on many occasions calling them flying slugs and the scum of the skies. Because they poo on their cars.
I was going to say, I heard that in my research that one of the main reasons this guy had a bee in his bonnet about the birds was that they kept shitting on his motor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to.
I find that plausible. If I was in the CIA, high level, I would dedicate government money and time and resources to personal vendettas that were batshit insane because I could.
Well, you'd wipe out the seagulls for starters, wouldn't you?
They took my fucking sausage when I was very small. Little bastards.
They'd be the first to go.
Big horrible twats. So I'm just saying, it's plausible. To me, it's plausible. Rogue agent abuses power to wipe out pigeons because they keep shitting on his motor. But we're skipping ahead in the story. Sorry. We're skipping ahead.
Yeah. Apparently, though, that was one of the driving forces that led Dulles to not only implement robots into the sky, but actually replace birds in the process. They did not need to kill all of the birds and could have launched a quarter of the robot birds they did. But the pigeons in DC at the time were absolutely ruthless, eating a lot, breeding people. American morale was high. They're in the boom after the Second World War. They're feeding pigeons on the streets because they just, fuck it, let's feed pigeons. Life's great. This, in turn, created huge amounts of pigeon shit. Of course, and that then led to many men and women hating pigeons, but all birds. And in a stolen transcript from an ex-CIA deputy, it says, the higher-ups were so annoyed the birds had been dropping fecal matter on their car windows that they vowed to wipe out every single flying feathered creature in North America.
It's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Do you know what I was just about to say, Mike? It's a very typically American response.
It is. Go to war with the birds.
The war on pigeon shit. It's a forever war.
Turn it to glass.
I say nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
No, we can't nuke the pigeons. General, sit down.
Well, Trump wanted to nuke a hurricane.
I know it's a ball ache. Getting your car washed a couple of times a week. But nukes are expensive and people get upset about them. I've had it with these motherfucking pigeons. Well, instead of going nuclear, they decide instead, though, to go chemical, don't they?
Yes, but we'll get to that shortly. In the meeting, they sought to kill the two birds with one stone, literally, replace these birds with billions of sophisticated robot lookalikes capable of mimicking real birds in every way. This would be the greatest surveillance system ever imagined.
What year was this?
1953, 1956, something like that.
How advanced were robotics back then?
Well, as you said, they're 10 years ahead of us.
How advanced were robotics in the 60s?
I'd imagine virtually non-existent. Barring like stuff that NASA was doing, like robotic arms to put stuff in places and things like that. I don't know.
Well, there was assemblies plants, weren't there? There were robots assembling cars and things in the 50s, surely.
I wouldn't go that far back. Maybe the late 60s, 70s, maybe.
I'll have a look.
Between 1959 and 1971, they wiped out over 12 billion birds.
Fucking hell, birdicide.
But that's probably even only there's probably even more birds than that, though. I mean, cats probably kill almost that many. But still, it's a lot of birds. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of birds, but it's not all of them, I don't think. But most.
Yeah.
But why See, what's confusing is why replace all the birds and making it more complicated for themselves? Why not? I thought, before I got into it, I thought it was just pigeons.
No, it's all of them. They're just crapping on cars. They just don't like birds.
Well,
And of course, then they're going to replace them with spying birds that can spy on all the people. So, like you said, it killed 2 birds with 1 stone, innit?
yeah.
Robotic birds don't need to shit.
That's true. But what in that scenario, then, why is there still bird shit everywhere?
Well, if you're going to replace all the birds with robotic imposters, surely you're going to have to build in some sort of fake shitting procedure. Because if you saw a fucking like 60 pigeons hung around in a square in town somewhere, and there were no shit, you'd think, well, that's strange.
That's true.
I don't think those birds are real.
I've not seen one shit all day.
No, and it would be terrible for I don't know what, but the industry that creates those spikes that stop birds from sitting down places to stop them shitting, that industry would be destroyed.
Yeah, it would.
Absolutely devastated. So you'd have to build into your fake Terminator bird some sort of, you know how like the Terminators, like they even sweat and stuff to make them look, you know, they're that sophisticated. Your robot birds would have to have some sort of liquid inside them which could be excreted, you know. Which again, I see you're defeating if you've eradicated birds with a shit and replaced them with birds that do fake shit. I realise. Again, that's a very American.
Yeah. Unless you program them not to shit on Alan Dulles' car.
That's it. They can't shit on C.I.A. cars.
Fucking hell. Yeah, because they fly towards them, they're repelled like magnets.
Thing is, what if there's like a bird resistance and there's like some birds got away and banded together and, you know, do go and shit on his car?
Well, they do say that birds of a feather flock together. It's all right.
And they reprogram one of the Terminator birds to be a good guy.
Yeah, infiltrate the CIA.
Go! I need to close your boots on your motorcycle. Go! Come with me if you want to live. Fucking birds talking to me. Fuck off.
That's probably one of your worst nightmares, isn't it?
And listen, I know it might sound mad, lads. This might make me look bad, but a bird did a shit the other day and I sniffed it and it smelled sweet, so I tasted it and I don't think it's real shit.
Let's just go back to the start of that sentence.
Yeah.
This might make me sound a bit mad, but
yeah.
I was licking bird shit and it didn't taste right.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I tasted it. It didn't taste real. I don't think they're real. It tasted like corn syrup.
Well, I'm going to leave all that research to you.
Yeah, it's all been done.
The bird shit whisperer.
I've been out licking bird shit all morning. No. Yeah, which obviously, you know, in a busy town centre during a pandemic went down fabulously well.
At least you weren't licking the door handles.
Oh, I didn't tell you where I was licking the bird shit from. Get a mask on, you dirty bastard. Solution to my concerns.
The birds aren't real. Taste this shit.
Corn syrup. Mummy. Anyway, back to the website.
Right, Alan Dulles met on May the 6th, 1957, met with an unidentified man from the Boeing Airplane Company and ordered 120 B-52 bombers, they were built in Area 51.
Bit extreme, innit?
Yeah, well, apparently that way the citizens of Seattle, where Boeing was headquartered, wouldn't be able to claim the bombers had been built nearby if the government was exposed.
Yeah, but they're dropping bombs on birds.
They're not dropping bombs on birds.
Not bums. They remember the general got taught down.
23 engineers went to Area 51, apparently to build these things or to finish the building of them. Designing, actually, more than anything. The B-52B, the B stands for bird or barrack. It was a brand new model, and it had 450-gallon water tanks in place of the bomb compartments. The water tanks were hard to design. One of the engineers almost gave up, but Dulles hit him over the head with a 40-pound wrench to try and knock some sense into him. This unintentionally put the man into a coma, to which he never awoke.
Oh,
So the
fuck
remaining
me.
21 engineers vowed to finish designing their airplanes so they could leave for good.
This guy's a
Tends to happen.
psychopath.
Getting hit with 40-pound lump hammers tends to put you in coma. Hey, what did he expect? Oh, this will speed him up. Oh shit, there's blood coming out of his ears. He's convulsing.
He appears to have severe brain damage. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
So once the water tanks were fitted into each bomber, a complex system of radar and tracking technology was installed to the nose of the aircraft. This technology was extremely advanced for its time and was used by the crew to track large flocks of birds from distances of 200 miles away.
Mm.
Once the radar was fitted, 5 coats of jet black matte paint was sprayed onto every surface of the plane. I hope they didn't do the windows. This was done to camouflage the aircraft against the night sky. They also removed every single external strobe, beacon, and landing light. And even the engines were fitted with noise reduction pads so they could fly completely silently at altitudes of 3,000 feet or higher.
Wow.
So after 2 years, it's taken 2 years to build these bombers. And what do you think happened to the guys that built them?
Got married, had kids, settled down, lived lovely, happy, long lives.
No, Dulles sent them to the front line in Vietnam. They were killed by the Viet Cong.
Yeah, they didn't come back. I thought so, yeah.
Good way. I bet a lot of people disappeared that way in the 70s. When was the Vietnam War? 60s?
60s.
And 70s.
3 to 71, I think.
75,
right,
wasn't it?
Oh, well, there was American involvement. Yeah, maybe.
Well, I bet you during that time, America got rid of a lot of people by doing it that way.
Oh, that they didn't want, yeah. Send them to Vietnam.
Off you go. Off you go. Or just like people that they killed on their own soil, they just be like, oh, he's MIA. MIA over there. Because there's fucking thousands of people that didn't come back. And
yeah.
Isn't there rumours that there's still like POWs over there?
Yeah, apparently so, yeah.
Oh, there's a movie in that, surely.
Well, yeah, they did it in Rambo 2.
Yeah, but I mean, going back now to like rescue these guys that have been there for like fucking 30, I can't do maths, since 1970, whatever.
50 years.
Yeah, they'd be like old 70-year-olds, but they'd be really grateful that they get to have, 3 years, if they survive the flight home, 3 years of freedom in good old America where everything's gone to hell world. Take me back to Vietnam.
I was happier in the bamboo cage.
A purple-haired man boy just called me a Nazi.
You may be wondering how the birds were killed.
Yes, please tell us.
The water tanks in the bombers are filled with a specially formulated bird poison that once consumed would give the bird a virus that could be passed on to other birds. The poison was sprayed from an altitude of 8,000 feet and would completely dissolve before it hit the ground, which meant that only birds would be affected by this terror, and once a single drop of the poison struck the bird's feathers, the virus would take hold through the fibers and make its way to the bloodstream, which would then affect the bone structure in such a way that total decomposition of the birds would take place within 24 hours.
Oh, fuck it. I was about to say, where's all the dead bodies of birds?
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, I was going to say that. So that's very convenient.
Yeah.
That's very ingenious, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a clever, programmable, intelligent virus. That's from Red Dwarf, isn't it? Programmable viruses.
I believe it is.
What if it mutates and decides that it's going to eat other things other than birds?
Well, I don't think Alan Dulles really cares about that, Mike.
Do the birds have to be in the sky, though? Because if they're chilling out on the ground and down at Earthman level, then this stuff will have already dissolved, wouldn't it? So some of them there must still be some living birds out there that survived.
Yeah,
and like you said, they've probably banded together in some sort of rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But once only a drop of that liquid gets onto a bird's feathers, they can spread that onto other birds. So they might be flying, coming down. They've got like 24 hours.
Shit, yeah. And they infect their friends. Bit like Corona.
Yeah.
Bit like the Rona. There's a story in that, isn't there? Maybe we could start a counter movement, like believe the real birds or something like, you know what I mean? We need to be on the bird rebellion, the side of the real birds before they're, you know, exterminated.
I'm surprised to hear you joining the real bird side.
Oh, mate, come on. If it was Star Wars, you're telling me you'd join the Empire and not the Republic?
Oh, fuck no.
Exactly. So we can't join the Empire of robot birds. If we're going to help anyone, we've got to be allies to the rebellion. I want organic birds. You know I love a robot. I love a robot, me. But only in fiction and games and things. I don't want them in real life. I get nervous about it. You know I do. So the idea of robot birds, creepy little bastards as they are. Oh, shit. Here's an idea. Maybe a chink in the story. I'm not saying that there's holes in this story so far. I'm not saying that.
I was going to say it's pretty airtight so far.
Yeah, very airtight. But 2 of the 3 of us are cat owners.
Yep,
You've seen cats bring home ripped open birds.
I have.
You didn't see any mechanical innards, did you?
I didn't.
Unless they are, as Arnold would describe it, an endoskeleton covered in living human flesh, basically. Do they, you know, flesh them out?
Okay, I can buy that. Perhaps the casual cat owner won't be able to tell the difference, but what about a vet? Surely they will be able to tell if it was something mechanical.
The prototypes might have been more mechanical back in the 50s, but now they could have like bio-robots.
They had like rubber feathers, easy to spot.
Exactly, now they're like virtually indistinguishable, even on the inside.
They had red eyes, rubber feathers, really easy to spot, yeah.
Okay, but why wasn't there a load of vets in the 50s coming out saying, hang on a minute, these birds, they're not alive?
Mike, I'm going to tell you one name, Gary Webb.
Oh.
What happens when you speak out against the CIA and their little
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all he was doing, Gary Webb, all he was trying to tell everyone was that the CIA were just, you know, selling cocaine to the streets. He wasn't uncovering a mass genocide of the birds in order to protect one guy's car from bird shit.
It's true.
That's huge. It's probably a list of dead vets the length of your leg.
I bet the veterinarians that did speak out about it were sent to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Not just a vet. You're going to be a vet if you're lucky.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
they never came back. They never came back.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I'm a vet. You wish. Get out.
Well, then surely people would notice when they take their dogs to the vet, suddenly 95% of the vets in the country are gone.
Stop picking holes in it.
No, you just take enough so there's not a major shortage. Just to send a message.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's all the birds. I think that's an exaggeration. I just think it's a good percentage of the birds. Because, I mean, you don't take your pet pigeon in, do you? I mean, maybe it didn't replace, like, the pet birds in cages, just the pest birds, the vermin, you know, your pigeons of this world. Because you don't take pigeons to the vet, do you? You just stamp on them. I mean, you just put them in the bin.
No, you wouldn't take a pigeon to the vet unless it was like a racing pigeon, would you?
No, a racist pigeon. Look at the... No, sorry. Cut that. A racing pigeon. But there's more, Ben. We're not even at the end yet, are we?
No. I mean, it should be pointed out that Kennedy was against this, and that's why he was assassinated by the CIA.
He was such a good bloke.
He was the first and only president to stand up against the murder of the birds. Every single president we've had has turned a blind eye to the atrocities.
He was a truly good man, wasn't he, Kennedy? He had a good heart.
He did, and he loved a bird.
He did.
Certainly did.
He loved a bird or two.
This is why the CIA started rigging elections. They would only allow candidates who were anti-bird and pro-citizen surveillance to win the presidency.
Well, yeah, because think about it. If you're against this scheme, you're against the surveillance of the populace, aren't you?
You're against America, guys.
Yeah, of course you are. Fucking
know.
goddamn un-American if you don't want pigeons listening to people.
Exactly. You don't want robot birds inside your house surveilling you constantly. You're an
Well, then
American.
You might as well live in goddamn China. This
every red-blooded American patriot wants a robot bird spying on them.
We have to have surveillance on every corner of every street and every city so we can protect you from China.
Yeah, exactly. It should point out that on the website here, because if this is affecting you, you can email their counselling department, support@birdsaren'treal.com, and they will walk you through the steps to mentally overcome this nightmare.
Oh, fuck.
Very good of them.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Now, on the 2nd of July, 1964, there was a secret meeting held in the Jefferson Building, Washington, D.C. There was a 6-minute recording uncovered of this meeting in the basement of an isolated storage warehouse by one of the Birds Aren't Real patriots. It's believed that members of the C.I.A. and Operation Water the Country, WTC for short. What else does WTC stand for?
World Trade Center.
Yeah. They discussed the need for a heavy amount of bauxite, an amorphous clay rock that is the chief commercial core ore of aluminium. This is essential to the process of robot construction of the birds, as aluminium will make up roughly every facet of its frame and internal structure. The recording says, you can clearly hear one of them say, "We need a quick solution to this problem. The production team needs this material right now. Real birds have been disappearing for almost 2 years now, and if we don't start replacing them in mass quantities, people will notice. We need a solution in 30 days. Now, buckle up. Buckle up, because this is why the Gulf of Tonkin incident happened, an excuse for the United States to get into Vietnam, to escalate the war, because why? They have massive amounts of this ore, so the CIA could make these robot birds.
They had to be there for some reason, didn't they?
That's
It makes more sense than the real reason. What was the real reason for Vietnam?
Spread of communism.
To fight communism.
Oh, yeah. Dirty commies. Well, you know, hey, you've got kids down mines so we can have smartphones. So
this is true.
Maybe you had soldiers down mines in Vietnam so they could have robot surveillance drones disguised as birds.
Yep, apparently this is how the process went. The US soldiers were told to advance into an area of North Vietnam where they could, quote, fight communism the best. They were actually capturing areas that had enormous quantities of bauxite ore. Once they captured it, dozens of excavators were deployed to dig into the deposit, dump the bauxite into trucks that would then travel a distance of up to 26 hours through enemy territory to the Cam Ranh base, a military port located in South Vietnam. The bauxite ore was then loaded onto a cargo ship that would deliver it to an unidentified port on the east coast of the United States. From there, the ore will be transported to the hundreds of facilities that constructed the robot birds.
Well, yeah, as you say, it's a massive manufacturing operation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Billions of little robots. I mean, are there a billion iPhones on the planet, do you think? It's got to be up there.
Oh,
probably.
Yeah. Now, these facilities are believed to be located within many of the government fallout shelters and ammunition bunkers, although one of the more modern facilities is located underneath the Denver International Airport.
Oh, bloody hell. That's made an appearance as well, has it?
Yeah.
Connect the dots.
Follow the birds. Follow the ore.
Yeah. Follow the minerals.
These facilities were so massive that hundreds of workers could fit inside and construct up to 5,000 robot birds per day.
Wow. That's impressive.
It is.
Where did they get the workforce from?
Well, how did the government get thousands of people to build these birds? And where are they now? Why aren't they testifying in court to the atrocities that were forced to commit? They were forced to commit. Do they not remember building all these robot birds? This question has been debated for decades by many within the Birds Aren't Real community. To sum it up, they're all tripping balls.
Oh God. Yes.
Right? The
So
government
they were
would
given doses of LSD, pushed into a big warehouse,
yes.
told to make robotic birds. Fuck me, that's a hell of a trip, isn't it?
Well, apparently, the government would send individuals to local nightclubs and bars who would then scope out a candidate who looked like they could assemble a robot bird.
Fucking
and
hell.
what are the qualities they're looking for exactly?
I don't know. That's why it's classified, I guess. But they look at someone going, I reckon he could make a robot bird. Yeah, all right. Let's get him. They would tell the person they're having a costume party on acid. It was the 60s and 70s where acid was more accepted than bottled water. These people were then given work overalls, i.e. their costume, and a small tab of acid, which was actually just a piece of coloured paper. The acid trip they expected was actually the bus ride to the entrance of the bunker, where they were given a toolbox and a pair of headphones that played Pink Floyd non-stop.
For fuck's sake. This guy's a genius.
This combination of assembling a robot bird inside a 5-story government fallout bunker led them to believe they were on the most insane trip of their life.
Can you imagine support groups in the future? You know, people who have had bad experiences with acid. That, you know, fuck me. I remember once I was in this fucking factory. They gave me some overalls, pushed me in, build all these robotic birds. Oh, fuck me. I had the same experience. I'm me. Oh, Jesus.
Fuck me. He had me up until this bit.
Yeah. The problem is they still weren't keeping up with demand. It's been over 10 years since the operation had begun in 1973. They'd only managed to replace 26% of the bird population.
Who would have thunk it? A hiring policy of kidnapping hippies, forcing them to take acid and work in giant factories wouldn't bear fruit.
Who'd have thought it?
Ah.
So at this point, there's a guy called William Colby in charge of the CIA, and the year is 1973. One of the men Colby fired because he wanted to hire more men and women to get the job done faster. Turns out they weren't very good. The man who shall remain nameless, who was one of the first fired, showed up on the doorstep of Clark Griffin, a young teenager from San Francisco, who had been an outspoken activist during the tail end of the Vietnam War. And now that the war had ended and all of the bauxite was extracted, the guy knew that Clark would now need to cause another cause to campaign. Apparently they call this guy the Master.
Why?
Wow.
No one knew his name. He quickly formed a team from the original members of his pro-peace, anti-war campaign and tasked them with traveling to various college campuses across the United States and standing on street corners and amphitheaters. And in those campuses, preaching the feathered gospel and awakening many students, quickly forming a huge activist base.
Wow.
Yeah. 2,000 people attending a rally on their campuses.
Those were the
Wow.
days.
Fantastic. Sadly, no one has heard from the Master for many, many years.
They looked in Vietnam.
No, he disappeared. No, so Clark Griffin disappeared during the 91 rally. Last seen holding a sign and marching up Market Street in San Francisco. 91, they could have sent him to Iraq. The Gulf War was on.
Oh, that's true. They still might fuck people after Vietnam. We don't know, do we?
That's it.
Just because there's not a war there, it could be their secret. I mean, we all go on about Guantanamo, but maybe they maybe they just fuck you off to the jungle.
Yeah, get you while you're sleeping. Just a load of robotic birds break into your bedroom and clamp onto you, flitter about and take out the window.
Yeah, carry you off, carry you 10,000 miles to Vietnam.
You wake up in a bamboo cage in Vietnam.
Man, am I on acid?
A bamboo cage surrounded by ears on spikes. Oh dear.
Apparently, though, they may not use this method of killing the birds soon because President Trump, with his build the wall thing, he said, of course, keep out illegal immigrants, but this is false. The wall will actually be encapsulated with thousands of microwave guns that can track any bird entering the United States and shoot it with harsh microwaves, just destroy the bird's ability to fly and kill it in a couple of hours.
Well, wouldn't there be a footload of dead bird carcasses?
Yeah,
Maybe
there would
they have
then.
teams those teams that reckon they're border agents are actually out there to clean up bird carcasses.
Yeah, of course. Fake news if you say any different.
Mm.
He didn't build the wall, though, did he?
No.
He built it a bit, and most of it was just replacing existing border fence.
Yeah, but
So-
microwave guns, it cost time and money to put in.
The wall just got 10 feet higher. No, it didn't. And don't you all feel silly for believing him?
So
Silly
what do you reckon,
billies.
guys?
Well,
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Prob-
It's a work of art, this is, isn't it? It's almost like
gonna
the black helicopters
that's
conspiracy.
it. I was going to say the issue is I know the truth behind it, and that is I'll read you a little bit of an article if that's all right. Well, I'm going to skip the beginning because it just explains what the conspiracy is, basically what you've just said there, Ben. It seems extreme, but also somewhat fitting given the landscape of today's social discourse. By surfacing murky bits of history and the ubiquity of Aves, I don't know, Birds Aren't Real feeds into this era of post-truth politics. The campaign relies on internet-fueled guerrilla marketing to spread its message, manifesting through real-world posters and photoshopped propaganda tagged with the Birds Aren't Real slogan. For much of its devoted fan base, Birds Aren't Real is a respite from America's political divide, a joke so preposterous both conservatives and liberals can laugh at it. But for a few followers, this movement is no more unbelievable than QAnon, a right-wing conspiracy theory turned marketing ploy that holds someone with high-level... we know what QAnon is. So Birds Aren't Real. It's a digital breadcrumb trail that leads to a website that leads to a shop full of ready-to-buy merchandise. The creative muscle behind the avian-inspired conspiracy and thinly disguised marketing scheme is 20-year-old Peter McKindo, an English and philosophy major at the University of Memphis in Tennessee. McKindo first went live with his Birds Aren't Real in January 2017 at his city's Women's March. A video from the event shows McKindo with a crudely drawn sign heckling protesters with lines like, "Birds are a myth, they're an illusion, they're a lie, wake up America, wake up!" The idea of selling birds aren't real goods, he says, came after the stunt gained traction over Instagram. McKindo didn't break character once during a 30-minute long phone interview with this website. He defended the movement's legitimacy, mainly by proselytizing about what birds aren't real isn't. The thought that this could be used to make a satire of a dark and tense time in American culture, I find those things to be baloney, McKindo says. What isn't baloney is the attention Birds Aren't Real has drawn on social media. Thanks to an Instagram account with more than 50,000 followers, a YouTube page with more than 45,000 views, and a Twitter profile with nearly 8,500 followers, McKindo handles all these accounts and fulfills every order for Birds Aren't Real goods he sells online. He declined to comment on how much money he's made off the t-shirts, hats and stickers, many of which are out of stock. Exploiting conspiracists for profit is nothing new, says Mike Meltzer, a social media influencer and viral content creator on Instagram. Amazon sells dozens of styles of QAnon t-shirts that have become a fixture at Make America Great Again rallies around the country. What's different is that while many QAnon believers wear their shirts in earnest, most Birds Aren't Real fans seem to wear theirs to be ironic and on trend. Birds Aren't Real is taking advantage of the memification of previous conspiracy theories, Meltzer says. People really want to believe in conspiracies, but more than that, people want to make fun of people who believe in conspiracies even more. Starting a conspiracy theory and selling Birds Aren't Real merchandise allows them to sell to both sides, Meltzer says. Which therein, to me, is the genius of this entire thing, is for some nutters who think this could be real, it's great. But for everyone else, it's a bit of a laugh. Like, for example, if you saw an unwashed, a right-wing fucking gun-toting zealot who lives in the woods wearing a Birds Aren't Real t-shirt, you might think to yourself, he might believe that. But,
yeah, that fits.
But like, if my brother, who's like, a working middle-class mechanic, like, normal as you could possibly be, if I saw him wearing one, I'd think, oh, he's taking the piss.
Yeah.
Or he's gone down a conspiracy rabbit hole.
Yeah, it could be that. It's perfect. It's like that guy just said, he's selling to both sides. He's come up with the most...
Yeah.
It's genius.
it's so absurd that it becomes satire, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I like that he's stayed in character and stuff in the interviews and that. I like that commitment. It's a bit like a performance art piece. I think that's how it started. He was trolling people at the Women's March, basically, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, you've all got mad. Like, you're all mad with your little signs and your fucking things. Like, see if you notice this one. Birds aren't real. So, unfortunately, we know it's not real.
Do we, though?
But what I will say is I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that maybe not billions, but the government have one or two surveillance type bird things that look like animals that are surveillance things. I don't think that's beyond the realm of having like one that you deploy for special, like, you know what I mean?
I'd like to see like a CIA hummingbird.
Something like that. Maybe they have got a fake pigeon that records some. I don't know. That like, I don't believe that they replaced all of them.
Well, I've seen something where they designed some like little insect with a microphone, some little robot insect drone thing.
There
It
you
just sort of buzzes into an air conditioning vent, and it'll sit there and listen to what's going on in the room.
That's cool. Spider-Man's got one of them in the computer game. But anyway, but imagine what a wonderful tool it would be. Because if you're having some sort of illegal meeting, some real bad criminal shit, whatever it is, whether you're in the city or out in the open, a bird flying overhead is not going to draw your like suspicion at all, is it? It's a bird. If it's a realistic looking moves like a bird, what a useful tool to just have one of them circling around or flying over a couple of times and taking photos and
I think a fly would be better.
Oh yeah, that'd be even more useful, wouldn't it? But
More
then
conspicuous, isn't it?
you'd get annoyed with people swatting it though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Fuck that. That's £2 billion that cost.
Well, we had
Just
the
fucking
CIA watch
sprayed
my
it with
crap.
fucking Zappo. Bug zap. Imagine a £2 million surveillance fly and he gets one of them electrified fucking bat things that they have. For
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway, hats off to McKindo. Good on him.
Have you seen an interview? I watched a very quick interview with him on he was on some American news show.
Oh, it was amazing.
No,
And
I've
he was
heard
just
his
like-
voice, but
And
what's
they
he
were
look like?
So is this satire? And he's like, no, this is real. And she's like, well, you told us it was. He's like, I didn't say that. Do you know what you're on about? Why are you mocking me? Why isn't this as just as realistic as the fact that birds are real?
Yeah.
That's such a good philosophical argument.
Yeah. Because you're treating my argument with contempt. Why?
Yeah. Our fairy must have been like joking about with him, and then as soon as he came on air, went into character and was like, no, I never told you that.
Apparently, you know Andrew Neil, you know who he is.
Yeah.
For the listener, he's a host of a politics show in the UK. When Alex Jones was on and had his like rant, Andrew Neil said that like the second the red light went off the camera, he was just like went from screaming to like, oh, great, gentlemen, that was really great. Thank you for having me. Right, see you again. Yeah, thanks. And was just, you know, just complete act. It's all just turned on, like, but yeah, fucking lunatic. Did you watch, Mike? Did you see in that fucking? It was wonderful, man. I'll have to. If you didn't watch the whole thing, then I have to try and find a clip of it. But that documentary about the rise of like Pepe the Frog. The meme.
Yeah, I said it, mate. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it had some court footage, right? But it wasn't in an actual court. You know, sometimes you have to do like go and talk to a lawyer at a remote location. They set up the camera and like it was Alex was being sued because he'd used somebody's artwork or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had the bits of footage of him in between like being questioned by the lawyer, and he was like, God, shoulders are aching. I worked out this morning. Oh my fucking God, he just fucking can't help himself.
No.
He's like looking at his guns, going to the lawyer like, yeah, I worked out this morning. Like, oh, no one gives a fuck, Alex. Bless him. I don't know how there, sorry.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, I'm down for it.
So you don't think birds, do you think birds are real?
No, I think that some birds are still real. I think that the CIA do have robotic birds, like you say. I think that there's maybe a few. Maybe there's more than a few.
Maybe, you know, like a little squadron of them in each city.
Yeah.
That'd be very useful. Well, the only way to know for sure is every time you see a pigeon, kick its fucking teeth in.
I don't think the British government could afford it.
Because it might be a cyborg. No. That's the other thing, man. I mean, how much did this operation cost?
Well, this is it. 26 bombers for a start.
Well, that's the thing. You have to build the infrastructure to, you know, because not only did you need the people to construct the birds, you need the people to construct the place where you constructed the fucking birds. Huge operation, but good on you, Mr. McKindo. What a guy.
And let's not forget the cost of the Vietnam War itself.
Oh, the human.
Not only in terms of lives, but in the billions and billions of dollars spent on military hardware.
No. Have you been watching Cobra Kai?
I have, mate. Yeah, I'm just at the Vietnam backstory now, episode 4, I think.
Oh, mate, I've binged it. No spoilers. It's fucking they managed to top the ending of last season.
Wow.
Which I didn't. I was thinking, how are they going to do that? But anyway, if you're wondering in the flashbacks, why does young Kreese look a lot fucking like Kreese?
Yeah,
it's because it's his son, his actual son.
No way.
Yeah, I kept thinking, fuck me, man, they really cast this well. He's got like the same hairline and everything. And then anyway. But yeah,
what I do love about that show is the way that it flips the movies. So like Johnny, he's the bad guy in the movie. Oh, but if you look at it from his perspective, LaRusso sold his missus and did an illegal move.
Yeah. Well, look.
And it's fucked his life. He peaked
at
that point. And the character development, I think, has been phenomenal for the whole show. It's been brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm really excited, and there's karate.
Yeah, I've absolutely loved it. Have you been watching it, mate?
No, it's on my list, mate. I'm getting to it.
I think you'd like it. It's a bit like someone pointed out to me today. This might sound daft, but it's a lot like Star Wars, but for martial arts. There's a lot of like fathers, sons, mentors, dark side, light side, changing of allegiances. Well, from my point of view, the Jedi are wrong.
Hang on. No!
Yeah.
He's coming back,
did you watch the fucking Mandalorian?
Yes.
I watched the first season, yeah.
Oh, the end.
Fucking hell, Mike. Jesus Christ, you've got to get to the end of season 2. I had a religious experience. It can only be described. Well, basically, to be fair, Chris Jones texted me in the morning and said, have you watched it yet? I said, no. He goes, stay off of Twitter, stay off of Facebook, get home, and you're going to have a religious experience. So I was like, because I'd already kind of guessed. I'd guessed a couple of weeks before in messages to Chris, but then I was like, they won't do it, though. I was basically saying, how amazing would it be? Because oh, shit, Mike, you haven't watched.
No.
We'll do this another time. I won't spoil it for you. But yeah, they did it. They've single-handedly saved Star Wars in like a 10-minute sequence.
Cool, man. Look forward to it.
Yeah, boy.
Weird news to finish on then.
Yeah.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Reindeer stalked by 10-foot beast as hunters spot herd fleeing scary flesh-hungry creature. Wow. Inuit people claim to have seen several reindeer galloping away from a dark-coloured predator on Alaska's North Slope. Some believe it to be the mythical Tawnet, a.k.a. the Alaskan Bushman, i.e. Bigfoot but taller. A terrifying flesh-hungry beast standing 10 foot tall is said to hunt reindeer in America's northernmost wilderness. A dark-coloured fiend which leaves human-like footprints has reportedly been seen by Inuit people chasing the animals in Alaska. It's very fond of reindeer meat, apparently. But he's 10 foot tall, black, brown or greyish, and leaves behind large human-like footprints.
Well, we've had 10-foot creatures on the Earth before.
That's true. Gigantopithecus.
That's the one.
So maybe I'm going with Bigfoot. Apparently, it might be a polar bear which has lost its fur, but I'm still going for Bigfoot.
Hey, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think I accidentally left the call. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
No, I couldn't hear you at all, mate.
Oh, so I'm here now. I was trying to say, so it's like Bigfoot but taller. Did you say?
Yes,
So it should be like very Bigfoot.
it's super Bigfoot.
What word's next up from big? Large,
Gigantic.
gigantic. It's not quite gigantic though. It's
No.
bigger than a Gigantopithecus.
Yeah. Large foot.
Large foot. Okay, big foot, large foot, massive foot.
Massive foot. Mahoosive foot. Fuck off, huge foot.
Anyway, wouldn't want to run into the cunt down a dark alley.
No.
Or a well-lit one, for that matter. As
I
if
mean, no, it depends if he's going to be a bit broy with you. You don't know.
that's saying you wouldn't want to meet him down a dark alley. Well, if he's going to bat you, it doesn't matter if the light's on or not, does it? He's still
The question whether the light's on is academic or not, really.
The light's on, so I've suddenly gained kung fu skills.
I think it's so you don't see him in terror and shit yourself before he kills you. That just adds to the humiliation. So at least in the dark, you won't see it coming.
No. And did I hear you say it eats reindeers? Or did
Yes.
I make that bit up? It eats reindeers. I did hear that, right? Because they're big.
They are, aren't they?
I've seen them in real life. They're massive. We went last winter to somewhere near Shrewsbury, Attingham Park, to look at the reindeers. They're fucking massive.
How tall are they, Gaz?
I'm not going to guess, but they're pretty big.
5 feet?
Antlers.
6 feet?
Nah, not that tall, but like,
Okay, I don't know. I was just asking.
you could probably, I would say, like the size of an Irish wolfhound, but with giant antlers on it.
Right.
Not than an Irish wolfhound. They're meatier. What I'm saying is, anything that feasts on reindeers is to be avoided.
Yeah, but what if it sort of sees us and goes, oh, you know what, they're like us but smaller. That's less like me but smaller. I'll be broy with it. And then you've got a Bigfoot sidekick.
How do we treat monkeys, Ben?
Well, I treat them quite well, to be honest.
Yeah, we do experiments on them.
Humanity as a whole, yeah.
We destroy their habitat.
Yeah.
We make them extinct.
Yeah, but I'm not doing any of that.
No, not
Yeah.
you personally, but what I'm saying is the idea that this thing is going to look at us, his little monkey brother, and be like, oh, be it's mate. You mean the word you're looking for is pet?
Yeah, when it goes to pet you, it just crushes your skull. It's like 10 feet.
Look, all I want is a Bigfoot sidekick.
Don't we all?
You know, I don't think it's too much to ask for.
So he can lean his head out the window and pretend to be a fire engine.
Yeah. Why not?
They missed a trick in that movie. If I was one of the kids in that movie, I'd have took him to school with me and got him to rip the arms off the bullies.
Yes, I would, to be fair. Fucking too right. If I had a Bigfoot mate, I'd be getting him to do a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, but you can only get it done once, couldn't you? Because then the police would just come around and shoot him.
Oh, that's true. It's basically your own personal Chewbacca, isn't it?
Yeah. Would you buy a van and just travel around the country with him?
What, like fucking Clint Eastwood and that monkey?
Well, I was just thinking, buy a van, you call it the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, right,
Would you?
I thought you was thinking like, you know, right turn, Clyde. You know.
No. Well, you know, if Chewie's your Bigfoot's trying to fix the engine, and you're like, no, that bit goes there.
I'd drive around getting beaten up in bare knuckle fist fights while Bigfoot sits at the side and watches.
I think all that would happen.
If I made money from charging people to meet Bigfoot and having the bare knuckle. What, bickering? Do you want a bare knuckle? No. Give me £5. You can meet Bigfoot, mate.
I think all that would happen would they would find an abandoned truck on the side of the road with a dead body inside it, mauled to death.
You've heard that audio, haven't you? I've never been able to listen to it, but you know, from Grizzly Man, where the bears, that documentary, the man who lives with the bears, but they end up eating his girlfriend and then him.
Fuck me, I never heard of that.
No, not me.
It's audio of it. It's called something like Grizzly Man, I think, or something along those lines. It's a real documentary. This guy, this crazy man, went out and lived with the bears and like was, thought that they'd accepted him as one of them. And like, he'd spend months out there with him and he had cameras filming all the time. And he took his bird out there with him one day and the bear just came in and apparently there's audio where you hear him saying, oh, yes, he's eating her body now. And I know I'm next. And yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah. All right, maybe this plan isn't the best.
No.
All right, next one.
Yep.
Mum says psychopath daughter 4 claims to have prison friend from 1900s.
Okay.
Say that again. Psychopath or psychic?
Psychopath.
Mother claims psychopath daughter aged 4.
Yep.
That's what it says.
Yeah. She says her daughter's a psychopath and she claims to have a prison friend from the 1900s.
No, that's
I think she's...
She confused psychic with psychopath.
No, she called her a psychopath. There's a video that
What
goes
a
with it.
mother.
I think she was just joking, but...
She better be. You can't fucking genuinely refer to diagnose a 4-year-old as, he's a psycho. Give him a chance. He's fucking has a... Anyway, sorry, go on, read it.
Her mum shared her 4-year-old daughter's creepy story about a past life and a prison pal she imagined who just happened to really exist in the 1900s to make it extra weird. Joking that her daughter was a psychopath, TikTok user somebody explained that she was telling the little girl about her friend's new baby when the conversation quickly got spooky. Frederica says, my friend just had a little girl and she called her Esther, which is quite an unusual name, so I told my daughter. I said, oh, my friend's just had a little baby girl, it's Esther. She was about 4 at the time and she responded straight away, oh, Esther Mervyn?
Okay.
I said, no, their name's not Mervyn. The youngster then insisted she had a pal called Esther Mervyn who was in prison for a while and lived really far away, terrifying her mum, who began to scour the internet for the name. Finally, after looking on Ancestry.com, Federica said she found an Esther Mervyn and, just like her daughter had claimed, lived very far away and was in prison in the 1900s.
Right.
Laughing, the mum says she questioned her daughter about her prison pal, how they met, and the 4-year-old casually replied, oh, it was a long time ago. She's dead now.
All right, that's not creepy at all. It was a long time ago. She's dead now. You'll be dead soon.
I mean, it could all be bollocks and she's making up for attention, but there is that.
Kids say some weird shit.
Yeah, weird shit. That is weird shit, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I think it's a bit of a stretch to go, oh, yeah, I used Ancestry.com and I found someone called Esther Mervyn in the records. And it's like, well, yeah, but there's probably quite a few of them about in there.
Yeah, that bit's bullshit. To me, that bit's the bullshit bit, because it's plausible to me that you say to a little kid, even a 4-year-old, like, oh, Jenny's named her baby Esther. Oh, Esther Mervyn, like she just comes up with a mad name, just like off the cuff like that. They're fucking super imaginative and creative. But I think the mum has twisted the story and gone, oh, wouldn't it have been creepy if that was a real name that she said then? So I can imagine the kid going, oh, yeah, making up a character on the spot. I knew somebody called what's his name and she was in prison. But the mum's gone, oh, imagine if it was if I actually found someone from the old times. And oh, yeah. And then, because remember, for fuck's sake, I nearly sold a story to the fucking Daily Star that Winston Churchill's ghost cost me my job. People make shit up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's more likely she just made it up for attention, to be fair. But...
And let's face it, if you're putting it on TikTok, then you clearly just have to attention yourself.
Well, there's that. There is that. And TikTok, man, it's like everyone's trying to get likes. It's all, it's all, none of it's real, basically. You can't trust any of it. It's all designed. Anyway,
yeah.
Fuck them.
Moving on then.
And finally, oh, you've given me a doozy for my return. This is from the aforementioned Daily Star.
The finest investigative reporting in the country.
Of course. As a broadcast journalist myself, I do obviously feel an affinity with the Daily Star for the sterling and imperative work that they do. So, the headline is, Illuminati created Santa to rake in cash and crush the Jesus story. Bonkers theory claims.
Is it bonkers, though?
I was going to say, it's a bit of editorialising in the headline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. For most of us, Father Christmas is a chubby bearded bloke bringing joy to the world over as he dumps presents down the chimneys at a speed defying the laws of physics. But for an eccentric and disparate bunch of conspiracy theorists, he's the embodiment of oppressive capitalism designed to snatch cash from the poor.
I'm so on board with this.
And that's not all. A particularly bizarre set of beliefs about the jolliest legend of them all holds that he's a satanic invention of the Illuminati. The Illuminati pop up in countless conspiracy theories describing a sinister cabal of powerful people who exert their influence while remaining anonymous. People claim to see their symbols everywhere, from dollar bills to rapper Jay-Z's hand gestures. No. They don't claim to see them. He is doing Illuminati hand gestures.
Yes, he is.
What the LA Weekly famously dubbed the satanic conspiracy theory doesn't just scrape the barrel, it breaks through the base.
Oh.
It posits that the group, which emerged in Bavaria in 1776, deliberately undermined the true message of Christmas by creating Santa. The theory points to the fact that his name is an anagram of Satan as to evidence his supposedly demonic purpose.
Well, you could argue he's a demon.
And what is his purpose, Ben? His purpose is to dilute the Christian message of the festive season, which celebrates the birth of our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ. Santa, they say, was conjured up to encourage present giving among the poor. By convincing kids to expect gifts every year on December 25th, parents are forced to part with their hard-earned dosh. The theory goes that this was designed to take capital away from those who need it, redirecting it to greedy corporations who churn out toys. I bet your cock's getting hard, isn't it, mate?
Oh, yeah. I'm fully on board, mate.
What do you mean? Mike's writing a manifesto as we speak, just after hearing this.
Believers say that when the Illuminati created their capitalist creature in one of their many smoke-filled lairs, they even left cheeky clues as to his diabolical character. We've already mentioned the similarity between Satan and Santa, but they also claim his red-coloured suit is a nod to the... but that's bollocks. It's not a nod to the devil, because Coca-Cola made his suit red. But maybe...
Yeah.
But did they?
Satanic.
Yeah.
Are they? They're all in on it. Well, yeah, that's basically it.
It's worth pointing out that the devil used to be green in medieval art, same as Santa Claus. He used to have a green suit. They both went red.
That's a point.
You know, Coca-Cola must have got to Satan too.
And apparently claws is the old English name for hoof claws. And goats and the devil.
Well, I certainly think there's something to the fact that Santa's a bit of an evil prick. Because poor people do bankrupt themselves and stress themselves to shit over giving fucking stuff to people.
And think about what Christmas traditionally was, to celebrate Jesus and to give to the poor and people who are less fortunate than you. Well, that's been completely overturned now, hasn't it?
Mm. Well, yeah.
So,
yeah, it's not so much about being nice to each other now, is it?
The rampant commercialization. I mean, there are still some remnants, I suppose. Like, I had a nice Christmas day because I was like, this is what it's about, just getting the family together. And as we hadn't been together in, nearly a year.
Yeah, and you still give gifts to your loved ones, which is good. That's a nice thing. Well,
that was nice.
The Jesus Christ thing and the poor is completely at the bottom of the priorities now, isn't it?
Mm.
I want to go back to a traditional Christmas where we fucking rampage through the streets, electing a king of fools, trashing the richest houses unless they give us food and drink.
See, that sounds like fun, but it's just a bit of ball ache in it because, I mean, like I said, new year, new me. I've come, I don't want anarchy. I don't want, I want nice, stable government.
You're in the wrong country, mate.
Strong and stable government.
Yeah, strong and stable. Those words were said to me emphatically by some fucking bin that I remember. Remember her?
Yeah.
Some weird bitch, like. Dancing fucking bint.
Oh,
Dancing queen. Hell world. Welcome to Hell world.
man.
It's been making me. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck 2020. So glad to say goodbye. Wake up, you fools. The first half of 2021's going to be a massive bag of shit as well.
Yes, it is.
What are we going to be saying? Fucking 2020, 21. Fuck. Oh,
In 2021, we'll be praying for 2020.
Remember 2020? Remember when we thought it was shit?
Yeah. Now we've got these giant rats that won't die.
Oh, God. Brexit, man. Oh, God. So much to look forward to.
Don't worry. Remember when they said if Brexit goes tits up, we can have a rummage round the skip?
Ah, yeah.
I mean, come on.
God. Oh, God. Well, I'm going to start capturing fucking birds and stripping them down and mining them for their parts. Making money on the black market. Start selling pigeon drones to the fucking Taliban.
While the rest of us fight poison-resistant super rats in the tip, trying to find the last scrap of pizza.
Remember to clap for the NHS.
Oh, yeah. Goody. What's an NHS?
Good times. I'm sure we'll all be fine.
Yeah, probably. It's just more fun to pretend everything's going to be shit. That way when it is shit, we'll just like, see how funny this was a while back.
I say everything's probably going to be fine. I don't know what I'm basing that on. Just some sort of innate human optimism that stops me from swinging from a rope. I don't know.
Self-defense mechanism.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember thinking in February, China's fucking miles away. We're on an island. We'll be all right. Surely they'll close everything down and it won't get here.
You'd think, though, as an island, we should be, like, quite good at quarantine. Just go, all right, everyone stop coming in.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand, lucky bastards living on an island. They managed it. If only we lived on an island and we could.
If only we lived on an island with someone competent in charge.
Shit. Although, to be fair, well done, New Zealand, but I'm sure I've said this before on the pod. It is the size of like one of my shits. Like,
What,
do you know
you
what
can
I mean?
fit 5 million people on one of your shits.
Well, come on, 5 million people. It's more than that in Birmingham, isn't there?
I don't know. London, yeah.
Yeah, London, but not Birmingham. Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes, it is an excellent achievement and we should all applaud them, but it is also like, all right, if you had fucking 1 billion people. Anyway, we fucked it up. We're shit. Thank you, New Zealand.
Yeah. Hey, I seem to recall you saying in February that China should be ringed with nuclear fire to prevent the virus getting out.
Nobody listened to me, did they?
I didn't.
Clearly not. Clearly
Well,
not.
I don't know if it's real or not. You don't know what's real, but I did see Twitter was going mad with pictures of like they're all out in the street. They had their masks on, but they're all partying their fucking heads off in Wuhan on New Year's Eve, and we're all locked indoors. So they've managed it without a vaccine. Or did they just burn everyone who had it, though, in mass graves? That's the thing with China. You won't ever know.
That's true, isn't
it? Yeah.
I don't know how true it was, but I remember back in February, it's so long ago now, it's fucking depressing, isn't it? But I do remember reading something at the start about somebody using Google Maps to see like these like heat spikes out in the middle of nowhere and that they claimed were like mass burnings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't put it past them.
Well, no, I wouldn't. 1 billion Chinese.
Practical people when it comes to shooting things.
Yeah. But yeah, they were all out. But were they out in the streets though? On news? Do we actually know that for all those pictures from? Like, oh no, they all had masks on though, so it can't be an old picture.
It could be just like 20 people, and they've just done it from an angle where it looks like there's loads.
What have they done over there? Did they just fucking full on lockdown for like months on end and like I said, burn everyone that actually?
Yeah, they've got a very different sort of ethos in China, haven't they? It's all about the collective rather than the individual. So, yeah, they all wore masks and followed strict lockdown rules, didn't they? Unlike us here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind sticking the mask on to go in the shop and that, but as soon as I'm out, I take it off, and it doesn't bother me. But some people are really adverse to it, and it's usually the people that should be wearing it.
It's become, because my new job is like half warehousing and sort of half on a trade counter, like serving people, and I'm sick of trying to tell. I've just given up. I don't bother. I've told my boss I am not paid enough money to be standing here arguing with people over fucking masks. I'll ask them once. If they refuse, I'm not fucking arguing. I said, I've got mine on. So, you know, it's but
it.
yeah, people are very.
It's not your job to police other people, is it?
People are very silly about it. Yeah, some people, not everyone. Some people are very silly about it. But
yeah, it's a minor inconvenience, isn't it?
What's so weird though is because I have to wear it all day. I've got so used to it, so fucking used to it, that sometimes I even manage to get all the way home and not notice till I either go past a mirror or my housemate says, "You've got your fucking mask on." It's so, and that's me, and I'm the sort of person who doesn't like doing things he doesn't want to do. But yeah, it's just a fucking mask on your face, man. Just come on, and you can mouth swear words, you can do all sorts. It's good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to have a shock when I have to take it off and I can no longer mouth, "Fuck you." So like, customers they're talking to me like shit.
I had someone complain to me they weren't going to wear a bondage muzzle. And it's like, it's a strip of cloth. It's not a ball gag.
No. And it's not, you know me, fight the power. Yeah, all that business. But come on. If I've said, I'm repeating myself now, but I've said this months ago on the pod and it still stands now. I want the tobacco and the beer. The beer is in the shop. In order for me to get in there without any shit or any trouble or upsetting anyone, I just have to put a little mask on and I can get the things I want. It's a very simple transaction.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have to wear it all day, it's just a minor inconvenience every other day or something.
Mm-hmm. But it's crazy to me how many builders and window fitters in this town are exempt, quote unquote. Can you put your mask on, please, mate? Oh, I'm exempt. Oh, fuck me. Another one. The conspiracy guy that I mentioned earlier. I was in the office bit and I saw him walk into the shop and I was like, oh shit, I better go serve him. And I'd forgot to put my mask on. So he was like, wow, it's nice to see your face. Yes, mate, fuck them. You don't have to wear it. It's not rules. It's not in your contract. You can fight them, mate. And I was like, oh, God, I just forgot.
Now he thinks you're one of them. Have you told him the birds are secretly wrote?
He wants me to go he wants me to go to London on a protest. But actually, it's how I feel about protests.
No, you should go. What you should do an undercover report.
Oh God. It does make good. Anyway, like he says though, he's labelled as an anti-vaxxer, which is a dirty word. But doesn't he have a right as a human to question it and ask, you know, can you do a bit more research? Or do you know what I mean? Like, he does have a right to maybe go. Why are you either like yes, take it, or anti-vaxxer? Do you know what I mean? Is it really that bad? Is it really that bad to sit back and go, I'll give it 6 months, please?
There's been plenty of things in history that have been allowed to happen. Later have been found to cause cancer or whatever, you know, like Roundup and things like that.
Yeah.
Thalidomide they gave women in the 70s, which fucked up kids' arms and legs up.
That's where thalidomide, that's where the whole thing comes from, isn't it? Where the word comes from, yeah. Because we used to call disabled people, a derogatory term for them was flids, wasn't it?
It was.
Back in the day.
There is a history of this thing, isn't there? So.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm you know, I'll have it, I'll take it. But like you said, Ben, I'll have to wait 6 months anyway. It's not as if I'll be fucking getting it anytime soon. So, you know, you got time to see what happens.
Thing is, like, should the elderly get it first, or should they just? There's no point in vaccinating Doris, who could pop off tomorrow. Why aren't they vaccinating the workforce? We're the ones
key workers have been, mate. Key workers have been, haven't they?
I'm a key worker. I haven't been. When the
No.
NHS are getting it.
No, the real key
But
workers, the NHS.
That's what I was going to say. Not the technically key workers like you and I were last time. The actual frontline workers, I suppose you'd call them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'd
still, they can have
certainly
it too, but Doris, who's 90, shouldn't have it.
Well, my mum's friend's mum, I saw it on Facebook, an elderly lady in our town, Telford. She's having a jab the other day. It was on Facebook, so it's happening.
Yeah, it is,
I
yeah.
was like, well, why's my mum not getting it? Because I'd like my mum to get it. Because my dad's quite vulnerable. Well, he's like in the extreme vulnerable category. So it'd be good if, if they could get it pretty soon. Or even if she gets it so that she hasn't got to worry about catching it and taking it home to him, basically. Anyway, we're in lockdown again. That's why we're Skyping. We should say I would have liked my grand return to have been in person, but I think it looks like it's going to be held off for another fuck knows how long now. So
Yeah, we don't know yet. Something anything could happen at the minute.
We'll have to play it by ear, listener.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, is that the end of the show, gents?
I think so.
All right, thank you very much for listening. I've been Ben. Don't drink the Flavour Aid. Don't join a cult, please.
How's it go? I've been Gaz. Free cannon.
Hey, I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.